Avavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavagaihi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Om Sthapakaya cha dharmasya Sarvadharmaswarupine. Sthapakaya cha dharmasya Sarvadharmaswarupine. Avatara Varishtaya Ramakrishnaya te namah. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma mritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us offer our salutations to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God incarnate. Let us pray to Him to lead us from the unreal to the real, to lead us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. Today's topic I am speaking on karma and destiny. It is very important to know the philosophy behind karma and how destiny is shaped out. If we understand this, it gives a great relief and it gives great hope for us to reshape our destiny. So destiny is formed out of karma. So it is very important that whatever we do has got great bearing on us, on our personality. So karma is a Sanskrit word. It means action or deed. Any physical or mental action is karma. Thinking is mental karma. Karma is a sum total of our acts, both in the present life and in the preceding births. Karma means not only action, but also the result of an action. There is a hidden power in karma or action termed adrishta. It is called adrishta, which brings in fruits of karmas for the individual. The consequence of an action is not really a separate thing. It is a part of the action and cannot be divided from it. Karma, according to Jaimini Rishi, is a performance of Agnihotra and Vedic rituals. According to the Bhagavad Gita, any action done with Nishkami Bhava is called karma. Lord Krishna says in the Gita, work incessantly. Your duty is to work, but not to expect the fruits thereof. Ma phaleshu kadachana. Karmanyevadikaste ma phaleshu kadachana. The central teaching of the Gita is non-attachment to work. breathing, eating, seeing, hearing, thinking, etc. They are all karmas. Thinking is real karma. Ragadvesh, likes and dislikes, constitute real karma. Man is threefold in his nature. He consists of Ichcha, Jnana and Kriya. Ichcha is desire or feeling. Jnana is knowing. Kriya is willing. These three fashion one's karma. He knows objects like chair, tree. He feels joy and sorrow. He wills to do this or not to do that. Behind the action, there are desire and thought. A desire for an object arises in the mind. Then you think how to get it. Then you exert to possess it. Desire, thought and action always go together. There are three threads, as it were, that are twisted into the cord of karma. Desire produces karma. You work and exert to acquire the objects of your desire. Karma produces its fruits as pain or pleasure. You will have to take births after births to reap the fruits of your karma. This is the law of karma. There are three kinds of karma. I should say threefold. Sanchita, Prarabdha and Kriyamana. Sanchita means accumulated actions. It is the sum of all karmas of this life and our past lives. Prarabdha karma means actions begun, set in motion. It is that portion of Sanchita karma that is bearing fruit and shaping the events and conditions of the current life, including the nature of our bodies, personal tendencies and associations. Kriyamana karma means actions being made. It is also called Agami or Vartamana. It is the karma we create and add to Sanchita in this life by our thoughts, words and actions, or in the inner worlds between lives. While some Kriyamana karmas bear fruit in the current life, others are stored for future births. Each of these three types can be divided into two categories. One is Arabdha and another is Anarabdha. Arabdha means begun, undertaken, that is sprouting. Anarabdha means not commenced, dormant, or seed karma, seed. There is a famous analogy. Karma is compared to rice in its various stages. Sanchit karma, the residue of one's total accumulated actions, is likened to rice that has been harvested and stored in a granary. From the stored rice, a small portion has been removed, husked and readied for cooking and eating. This is Prarabdha karma, past actions that are shaping the events of the present. Meanwhile, new rice, mainly from the most recent harvest of Prarabdha karma, is being planted that will yield a future crop and be added to the store of rice. This is kriyamana karma, the consequences of current actions. That is, everything is accounted for. That's the meaning. Everything done by a person is thoroughly accounted for. Prarabdha karma determines the time of birth, which dictates one's astrology, which in turn delineates the individual life pattern by influencing the release of these karmas. Three factors are fundamental: the nature of one's birth, the length of life, and the nature of experiential patterns. Dormant sanchita karma, while not directly being acted upon, is a weighty and compelling force of potential energy, be it benign or gross, good or bad, slothful or inspirational. It is this dormant karma that explains why two people born at the same moment and who thus have the same astrology differ in their talents and tendencies. It is this held back force of sanchita karma that the yogi seeks to burn out with his kundalini flame, to disempower it within the karmic reservoir of Anandamaya Kosha, the soul body. Astrologers who understand karma well emphasize that one can influence his or her dormant sanchita karma. Further, one does have power over karmas being made, kriyamana. But karmas set in motion, that is prarabdha, are binding. They form the grid work of life and must be lived through. Facing them positively is the key to their resolution. Fighting them through resentment and the release of other negative emotions only creates more unseemly sanchita karma for the future. The law is, we must accept and bear our karma cheerfully. That's the law. Now, intricacies of the law. On dissolving karma, it is said, non-attachment to the fruits of action stops kriyamana from accumulating. Prarabdha is experienced and ceases with this birth, and sanchita is burnt away by the diksha of the Guru. It is Sadguru who holds the power to mitigate and redirect a person's karma. The Guru always sees the good in a person and encourages that goodness. With his authority, this automatically mitigates the detrimental areas the person could fall into because of his past actions. Naturally, karma also determines the circumstance of one's life in the antarlok, after death. The infallible law of karma continues for disembodied souls between births, though many karmas can only be fulfilled in physical incarnation. Thus, earth is called karma kshetra, arena of karma. Karma is also binding to varying degrees for those who have attained moksha and are living in the antarlok until ultimate merging in the Paramatman. Prarabdha karmas fructify in a given lifetime, fortified by the ripe karmas that are experienced in the in-between. Some of what is learned in the antarloka is used in the next birth to know how to best face the prarabdha karmas as they manifest. Some of what is learned will only be used in future births. Karma made in the antarlok positive or negative, is added into the big sanchita basket. And of course, some of it also bears fruit. All karmas are either ripe or unripe, ready or unready. Of the prarabdha karmas that one is born with, some are immediately released and others will be ready only in later years of life. This is why if a person commits suicide, the repercussions are drastic because he has blocked and interrupted the fulfillment of the prarabdha karmas that he had set about to consume in this birth. Then it is like a string hopper in the inner worlds that must be unraveled when he arrives there unexpectedly. The prarabdha karmas, as they ripen, open up as you go on through life. Similarly, of the kriyamana karmas created, some are ripe and some are not ripe. Some immediately bear fruit and are consumed in this life. Others go to seed and enter the big sanchita karma bank to be experienced in future births as prarabdha karma. Whatever is not experienced and resolved in the current life is taken by you to the inner world as a basket of seeds. A mystical person who knows he is going to incarnate again can work on these seeds consciously. In Vedantic literature, there is a beautiful analogy. The bowman has already sent an arrow. It has left his hands. He cannot recall it. He is about to shoot another arrow. The bundle of arrow in the quiver on his back is the sanchita. The arrow he has shot is prarabdha, and the arrow which he is about to shoot from his bow is agami. Of these, he has perfect control over the sanchita and the agami, but he must surely work out his prarabdha. The past, which has begun to take effect, he has to experience. Now, actions are of three kinds: good, bad, and mixed. Good karmas make you a god or angel in heaven. Bad karmas throw you in lower wombs. Mixed actions give you a human birth. Every work is a mixture of good and evil. There can be neither absolute good work nor absolute bad work in this world. This physical universe is a relative plane. If you do some action, it will do some good in one corner and some evil in another corner. You must try to do such actions that can bring the maximum of good and the minimum of evil. The doctrine of karma forms an integral part of Vedanta. As you sow, so you reap. This is the law of karma. It expounds the riddle of life and the riddle of the universe. It brings solace, satisfaction, and comfort to one and all. It is a self-evident truth. Every sensible person will have to accept it. There is no other go. As according to one's deeds, according to one's behavior, so one becomes. The one who does good becomes good. The one who does evil becomes evil. One becomes virtuous by virtuous action and evil by evil action. This has been stated by Shukla Yajurveda in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. This statement is there. Every action that we perform in life, every thought that we think has its reaction. We may or may not be conscious of the reactions that will result from what we are doing or thinking. Many people spend a great deal of time acting only with the purpose of covering up the reactions to prior unsatisfactory actions of their own making. Hurt or puzzled, they often ask, why is this happening to me? Why did I do to attract that? What did I do? What did I do to cause that? Do I really deserve this? It doesn't seem fair. Like that they begin to think about. Were they to become enlightened and find the ability to live in their own intuitive, superconscious mind, they would see in that expanded state of consciousness all of the ingredients that came together out of the forgotten past to create the conditions through which they are passing in the now. They would observe that every action is like planting a seed. The fruit of that seed, harvested perhaps years later, is reaction. Like the seed, actions remain vibrating in the mind until fulfilled. It is not possible to trace past causes to current effects through analyzing or through the ordinary process of reason, which result in uncertain conjecture. Only superconscious insight can accurately portray the chain of cause and effect relationships as a picture of what is. Thus the wheel of karma continues on and on, creating and recreating. The wheel of karma is simply the mechanism of the mind's action. Your mind, everyone's mind. Through the study of the wheel of karma, which is meditative study, you realize that you have created everything that is happening or has already happened to you. Everything that is coming your way in the future, you will have created. Everything you will acquire, your own wants will have brought into being. You are right now a sum total of millions of thoughts, feelings, desires and actions, all of them yours. Circumstance is not responsible for your condition, for you have made your circumstances consciously and unconsciously. There are no outside forces imposing themselves upon you. Whatever you attract to yourself of the world, though it seems to be external, is but a manifestation of your own inner nature. You are the author of all your creations. And yet in the inner recesses of your being, you are already the finished product at the same time. To understand this fully, you need yoga. The study of the yoga is reserved for the few who have the courage to seek the depths of their being, for the few who can overcome their experiences and their desires in deep meditation. Now you may meet in your own subconscious, as soon as you sit down to practice meditation, all of the worldly desires latent within you, including several of which you perhaps have no conscious idea. If your meditation is successful, you will be able to throw out the unnecessary experiences or desires that are consuming your mind. When you do this and you travel past the world of desire, you will begin to break free of the wheel of karma, which binds you to the specific reaction which must follow every action. To break free of this wheel of karma, you must have a strong, one-pointed mind. Your only key to help you attain this one-pointedness, this steadfastness, is your devotion to God, your devotion to the realization of the truth. Few people remain steadfast enough under all circumstances and tests that life offers to realize the many causes and effects that are linked together in their lives. It is easy to study the law of karma and to appreciate it philosophically, but to realize it, to apply it to everything that happens to you, to understand the workings of it as the day goes by, requires an ability to which you must awaken. Attachment, desire, craving, fear of loss, these are the self-created ropes that hold man in bondage to his lower states of mind. It is because man chooses to live in the ignorance of unfulfilled craving and unsatisfied desire that he suffers. How many of you have suffered over something that was anticipated and may never have taken place? You will remember then waking up out of the dream of your suffering and finding that things were all right after all, and that through your experience something within you remained the same. Somewhere the idea was born that man should live in states of happiness and joy all of the time. But in the first place, happiness and joy depend upon unhappiness and sorrow, even to be recognized or appreciated. If man would only know that whatever emotion transpires within him foreshadows its opposite. Secondly, suffering is greater intensity, a higher vibration than happiness. You don't learn much from your happiness. You learn from the states of suffering which awaken the higher consciousness of your soul. But suffering has no value for its own sake. When the mind recognizes it is suffering over something or other, it is time to practice meditation, to see into the causes, to expand your consciousness a little bit more so that you will grasp the workings of life and its karmic laws. Then you will attain to a greater intensity than either joy or suffering has to offer. You will view the wheel of life, of cause and effect, objectively, and you will not so quickly identify yourself with the lower emotions or the objects of your own mind's creation. Then there are the people who, like a fish caught by a fisherman, grasp into the hook, who step on the spiritual path but spend their time flip-flopping in the water, tugging at the line, swimming first one way then the other, never really approaching the surface. Why? They live in their ego, that's all. Their consciousness is limited. The ego is just a trifle dumb. Have you observed an egotistical person? He is just a little dumb, isn't he? Not aware of the layers and layers of wisdom within him. It is a wise man who recognizes the importance of controlling the forces of his mind. His life is a struggle to make his philosophy real, to gain control of the cycles of experience which have tied him to the wheel of karma. You don't escape the chain of cause and effect by just sitting with your eyes closed, trying to keep awake, trying to meditate. The genuine practice of yoga involves meeting new challenges each day, having new realizations each day, becoming the boss of your mind, not allowing it to flop around at the end of the line. This type of diligent concentration will definitely change you from the inside out. You will begin to realize more and more that you are the creator of your life and every aspect of it. But your incarnation on this planet is not complete until you have exhausted the wheel of karma, and it will not exhaust itself unless you gain control of it. The wheel of karma, of cause and effect, the world of form, is apparent only when you look at it. You only attain the natural state of your radiant inner being when you step off the wheel of karma. It is not natural for man to live bound to the lower states of mind, ignorant of the fact that God dwells within. But the hearing and understanding of this truth is only the first glimmer of the dawn, a preliminary awakening. The rest, the final realization, is up to you. It is up to you and you alone to penetrate the veil of illusion and realize yourself, the absolute, beyond desire, beyond the experiences of the mind. It is up to you to realize God. If difficult things are happening to you and your mind is disturbed because of them, and you have mental arguments within you because you can't accept your own karma, go to the feet of the Divine Lord in your mind and beg for the intelligence to place yourself firmly on the path of Sanatana Dharma. Though it is true that we must work through all aspects and phases of past actions, there are ways of becoming excused from the punishments the drastic actions of the past impose upon the future. These ways are grace, sadhana, tapas, and atonement through penance and the performance of good deeds, thus acquiring merit, which registers as a new and positive karma, alleviating the heaviness of some of our past karma. Through seeking grace and through receiving it, by performing sadhana and tapas and the doing of penance, the karmas are in themselves speeded up. The going through and meeting and reaping of rewards as well as displeasures embodied in past karma in the present is accelerated through these self-imposed actions. Therefore the sages say, bear your karma cheerfully, and as the seeking of self commences, the karma unfolds in all of its hideousness and glory, to be seen before the single eye and not reacted to by even a tremor within this physical and astral nerve system. The yoga must be that strong. Each time you blame another person for what has happened to you, or cast blame in any way, tell yourself, this is my karma which I was born to face. I did not come into a physical body just to blame others for what happens to me. I was not born to live in a state of ignorance created by an inability to face my karma. I came here to spiritually unfold, to accept the karmas of this and all my past lives, and to deal with them and handle them in a proper and a wonderful way. Humility is intelligence, arrogance is ignorance. To accept one's karma and responsibility for one's actions is strength. To blame another is weakness and foolishness. Let us begin by not advertising our ignorance. If you must blame what happens to you on your friend, your neighbor, your country, your community, or the world, don't advertise it by speaking about it. Keep that ignorance to yourself. Limit to the realm of thought. Harness your speech and at the same time work to remold your thinking. If you take responsibility for all that happens to you, then you will have the power to deal with your karma through the grace of Lord. He will give you the intelligence to deal with it as you worship Him in the temple. Contact Him within as the life of your life and find Him in meditation. An example is given. Suppose I am holding a plate of rice and curry and I pass it to you. All of a sudden the plate drops on the floor between us. I blame you, you blame me. I don't want to be responsible for dropping the rice and curry, and you don't want to be responsible either. So we blame each other. The rice and curry is scattered there on the floor. No one is going to clean it up until one of us takes responsibility and says, I am sorry, I dropped the plate of rice and curry, and gets down on hands and knees and cleans it up. In the same way, only by taking responsibility, by recognizing what we have done as our own doing, can we begin cleaning up the results of our actions. Those who do take responsibility for their own karma have all the help in the world. Pride, arrogance, and an ungiving nature are characteristics of those who don't believe in the law of karma. These are qualities of those who do not take responsibility for their actions. They blame everything on someone or something other than themselves. This includes their mistakes and every unpleasant thing that has ever happened to them, is happening to them, or may happen to them in the future. They live in the fears and the resentments born of their own ignorance. Only through being born in a physical body can you experience certain kinds of karmas which can't be fulfilled or experienced in our etherical or astral body. Therefore, between births, those physical body karmas live in seed form. Only in a physical body do you have all of the chakras functioning that will allow those karmas to manifest and be dealt with. Each birth is thus a precious window of opportunity. For heaven's sake, don't blame your karma on somebody else and seek to escape from what you were born to deal with. That's the height of foolishness. Stop blaming and criticizing others and take a good look at yourself. Stop excusing yourself and trying to make yourself look good in the eyes of others. Then a sense of strength will come up within you, a sense of independence and peace. Mental arguments will stop. Arrogance will vanish. Pride won't be there anymore. You will be a full person. All of your chakras will function properly. Your nerve system will quiet down. And intuitively you will be able to bear up under your karmas and deal with them positively. If it is your karma to be poor in this life, you will be rich by living within the income that you have. You will be content by having desires that you can afford. We make ourselves discontented, we make ourselves unhappy, and we make ourselves useless creatures on this planet by allowing ourselves to live in an ignorant state. What do we mean when we say there is no good and no bad, only experience? We mean that in the highest sense, there is no good and bad karma. There is self-created experience that presents opportunities for spiritual advancement. If you can't draw lessons from the karma, then we resist or resent it, lashing out with mental, emotional or physical force. The original substance of that karma is spent and no longer exists. But our current reaction creates a new condition of harsh karma to face in the future. As long as we react to karma, we must repeat it. That's the law. Good or bad is just a door going one way or the other. There is no good, there is no bad. There is just a swinging door. Good deeds siphon the collective good deeds of other good deeds. When the door swings the other way, mistakes siphon the results of past mistakes. Hatreds, the accumulated results of hating, are pulled up from way down there. Thus, one of the major keys to understanding the importance of good conduct relates to the release of seed karmas. Performing dharma, acting with correct thought, word and deed, siphons the results of previous patterns of behavior from the past and causes those seeds to sprout in this life. Like attracts like. These patterns then aid the individual by bestowing clarity of mind and a life in which yoga can be performed and truth sought. In the practice of yoga, the negative seed karmas can actually be burned up without ever having to be lived through. Conversely, adharma, wrong thought, word and deed, siphons the results of past misdeeds like attracting like. like attracting like. These seed karmas begin to bear bitter fruit, resulting in a miserable life and state of mind. The individual is immersed in confusion, wrong patterns of thought, and is of course in no position to practice yoga, follow dharma or realize truth. He is simply immersed in samsara. In his own way, God is bringing you into realization, into knowledge of yourself and of Him. He has given you the world of experience. Study your experience, learn from your experience. If it is painful, that's also good. In the fires of experience, which are both pain and pleasure, you are being purified. It is God's will to bring you forward into the fullness of yourself. In doing so, you must go through much pain, through much joy. Both register on the scale as the same intensity of emotion. It is what caused it that makes one more pleasurable than another. Don't be afraid of experience, and don't be afraid to go through your karma. Go through it with courage. Of course, you can minimize reactions to unhappy experiences by performing selfless service, which will create good karma. This is what you have to do to progress your spiritual life. Moksha, enlightenment and liberation from rebirth, is the ultimate goal of all souls. The exit is through the crown chakra. Go forward without fear. A close study of this law gives encouragement to the hopeless man, to the desperate and ailing. Destiny is created by man's thoughts, habits and character. There is every chance for his correction and improvement by changing his thoughts and habits. The scoundrel can become a saint. The prostitute can become a chaste lady. A beggar can become a king. This mighty law provides for all this. The doctrine of karma only can explain the mysterious problem of good and evil in this world. The doctrine of karma only can bring solace, contentment, peace and strength to the afflicted and the desperate. It solves our difficulties and problems of life. It gives encouragement to the hopeless and the forlorn. It pushes a man to right thinking, right speech and right action. It brings a brilliant future for that man who lives according to this universal law. If all people understand this law correctly and discharge their daily duties carefully, they will rise to sublime heights in the ladder of spirituality. They will be moral and virtuous and have a happy, peaceful, contented life. They can bear the burden of samsara with patience, endurance and strength of mind. There will not be any room for complaint when they see the inequalities in birth, fortune, intelligence, capacities, etc. There will be heaven and earth. All will rejoice even in suffering. Greed, jealousy, hatred, anger, passion will vanish. Virtue will reign everywhere. We will have a glorious Satyuga now, with peace and plenty everywhere. Blessed is a man who understands and lives in the law, for he will soon attain God consciousness and become one with the lawgiver. Then the law will no longer operate on him. So, Karma Yoga is consecration of all actions and their fruits unto the Lord. Karma Yoga is performance of actions dwelling in union with divine, removing attachment and remaining balanced ever in success and failure. Karma Yoga is selfless service unto humanity. Karma Yoga is a yoga of action which purifies the heart and prepares the antakarana, the heart and the mind, for the reception of divine light or attainment with knowledge of the self, attainment of the knowledge of the self. The important point is that you will have to serve humanity without any attachment or egoism. Action of some kind or the other is unavoidable. You can't keep quiet without doing anything. What binds you to phenomenal existence or samsara is not the action, but the idea of doership and enjoyership. Karma binds when it is done with a selfish motive, with the expectation of fruits. But when action is done without the expectation of fruits, it is liberating. If you act as an instrument in the hands of the Lord, as a participant in the cosmic activity of nature, without expectation of fruits, that karma will not bind you. Karma then becomes karma yoga. Work unselfishly. Feel that you are only an instrument of karma. The practice of karma yoga prepares the aspirant for the reception of knowledge of the self. It makes him a proper aspirant for the study of Vedanta. Ignorant people jump at once to Jnana Yoga without first having a preliminary training in Karma Yoga. That's the reason why they fail miserably to realize the truth. Various impurities lurk in the fourfold mind. Antakarana. The mind is filled with likes and dislikes, jealousy, etc. They only talk of Brahman. They indulge in all sorts of useless controversies, vain debates and dry, endless discussions. Their philosophy is only on their lips. In other words, they are lip Vedantins. What is really wanted is practical Vedanta through ceaseless, selfless service. Selfless service is the only way to remove the impurities lurking in the mind. Two things are indispensably requisite in the practice of Karma Yoga. The Karma Yogi should have non-attachment to the fruits of actions. He will have to dedicate his actions at the altar of God with the feeling of Ishvararpana. Non-attachment brings freedom from sorrow and fear. Non-attachment makes a man absolutely bold and fearless. When he dedicates his actions at the lotus feet of the Lord, he develops devotion to God and approaches Him nearer and nearer. He gradually feels that God works directly through his ears and instruments. He feels no strain or burden in discharge of his works now. He is quite at ease. The heavy load which he felt previously on account of false notion has vanished out of sight now. The practice of Karma Yoga does not demand that you should possess enormous wealth. You can serve with your mind and body. If you find a poor sick man lying on the roadside, give him some water or milk to drink, cheer him up with sweet, encouraging words. Put him in a carriage and take him to the nearest hospital. If you have no money to pay for the carriage, carry the patient on your back and see that he is admitted into the hospital. If you do service like this, your heart will be purified. God is more pleased with such sort of service for the poor, helpless people than with the service done by rich people with pomp and vanity. If anyone is suffering from acute pain in any part of the body, at once shampoo the affected part very quickly. Feel when you massage that you are shampooing the body of the Lord. Repeat your Ishta mantra or any name of the Lord while shampooing. Pray also from the bottom of your heart, O Lord, remove the pain of this man. Let him rest in peace. Let him possess good health. Feel when you massage that the energy from the cosmic source, Hiranyagarbha, is flowing continuously through your hands. Some neophytes are afraid their energy will be depleted by massaging another person. This is a serious mistake. The more you give, the more you will get. You will be in tune with the cosmic energy of the infinite. This is the divine law. A karma yogi should be absolutely free from lust, greed, anger and egoism. Even if there are traces of these doshas, he should try to remove them. He should not expect any kind of fruits for his actions herein and hereafter. He should not have any desire for name and fame, approbation, thirst for applause, admiration and gratitude. He must have a spotless character. He should try to possess this gradually. He should be humble and free from hatred, jealousy, harshness, etc. He should always speak sweet words. How can a proud and jealous man who expects respect and honor from others serve others? He should be absolutely fearless. A timid man is absolutely unfit for karma yoga. He is fit to assist his wife in cleaning utensils in the kitchen in the morning and in washing her clothes in the evening. A karma yogi should have large heart. He should be free from crookedness, meanness, miserliness and selfishness. He should be absolutely free from greed, anger and egoism. A karma yogi should have an amiable, loving social nature. He should be able to move and mix with everybody without distinction of caste, creed or color. He should have perfect adaptability, tolerance, sympathy, cosmic love and mercy. He should be able to adjust with the habits and ways of others. He should have an all-embracing and all-inclusive heart. He should always have a cool and balanced mind. He should have presence of mind also. He should have equal vision. He should rejoice in the welfare of others. A man who is easily irritable and who can easily be offended for trifling things is absolutely unfit for the path of karma yoga. He should have all the organs under perfect control. He should lead a very simple life. He should bear insult, disrespect, dishonor, censure, infamy, disgrace, harsh words, heat, cold, and the pain of diseases. He should have absolute faith in himself, in God, in scriptures, and in the words of his Guru. If he leads a life of luxury, if he wants everything for himself, how can he share his possessions with others? He should burn his selfishness to the very root. Bhagavad Gita says, restraining and subduing the senses, regarding everything equally, rejoicing in the welfare of all. Those alone come to me. Such a man becomes a good karma yogi and reaches the goal quickly. So karma yogi must have all these qualities. Then the actions become spiritual practice. By doing selfless service, what will happen? You purify your heart. Egoism, hatred, jealousy, ideas of superiority and all the kindred negative qualities will vanish. You will develop humility, pure love, sympathy, tolerance and mercy. Sense of separateness will be annihilated. Selfishness will be eradicated. You will get a broad and liberal outlook on life. You will begin to feel oneness and unity. Eventually, you will obtain knowledge of the self. You will realize one in all and all in one. Generally, people are impatient and they expect siddhis after doing a little service. The real karma yogi who serves people with humility and atma bhava, seeing God in everyone, becomes a real ruler of the world. He is honored and respected by all. The more service you do with atma bhava, the more power, energy and capacity you get. Practice this and feel. If you really want to grow in the spiritual path, you must do all sorts of service daily till the end of your life. Then only you are safe. Do not stop doing service when you have become a famous yogi. The spirit of service must enter every nerve, cell, tissue and bone of your body. It must become ingrained in you. Then only you will become a real, full-blown, practical Vedantin. Is there any greater Vedantin or Karma Yogi than Lord Buddha? He still lives in our hearts because that spirit of service was ingrained in him and he spent his whole life in serving others in a variety of ways. He is indeed a magnanimous soul, one without a second. You can also become a Buddha if you apply yourself diligently to selfless service with the right mental attitude. In the practice of Nishkama Karma Yoga, there is no loss of effort, there is no harm, There is no transgression also. Even a little of this practice can protect you from great fear of rebirth, of death, which is concomitant evils. You will reap the fruits of karma yoga, that is jnana. There is no uncertainty here. The path of karma yoga eventually leads to the attainment of bliss of the self. So, through constant selfless service, you must acquire the purity of heart. You will shine as dynamic karma yogins, radiating joy, peace and bliss everywhere. You rejoice in the welfare of all beings. May your minds be fixed in the Lord while your hands are in the service of humanity. May you all understand the principles and techniques of karma yoga. May all your actions become offerings unto the Lord. May you all attain Kaivalya Moksha through the practice of karma yoga in this very birth. Swami Vivekananda has said about destiny, we are responsible for what we are, and whatever we wish ourselves to be, we have the power to make ourselves. If what we are now has been the result of our own past actions, it certainly follows that whatever we wish to be in future can be produced by our present actions. So, we have to know how to act. Man is man so long as he is struggling to rise above nature, and this nature is both internal and external. And if we read the history of nations between the lines, we shall always find that the rise of a nation comes with an increase in the number of such men, and the fall begins when this pursuit after the infinite, however vain the ulteriors may call it, has ceased. That is to say, the mainspring of the strength of every race lies in its spirituality, and the death of that race begins the day that spirituality wanes and materialism gains ground. You have to grow inside out. None can teach you, none can make you spiritual. There is no other teacher but your own soul. So, everything lies within ourselves. But we must do it with sincerity and determination. And the moment we purify our heart, then we understand the glory of all these things. Swami Vivekananda said, let the dead past bury its dead. The infinite future is before you. But you must always remember that each word, thought and deed lays up a store for you. And that as the bad thoughts and bad works are ready to spring upon you like tigers, so also there is this inspiring hope that the good thoughts and good deeds are ready with the power of 100,000 angels to defend you always and forever. Swami Vivekananda said, I am sure God will pardon a man who will use his reason and cannot believe, rather than a man who believes blindly instead of using the faculties he has given him. We must reason, and when reason proves to us the truth of these prophets and great men about whom the ancient books speak in every country, we shall believe in them. We shall believe in them when we see such prophets among ourselves. We shall then find that they were not peculiar men, but only illustrations of certain principles. Go on doing good, thinking holy thoughts continuously, which is the only way to suppress base impressions. Never say any man is hopeless, because he only represents a character, a bundle of habits, which can be checked by new and better ones. Character is repeated habits, and repeated habits alone can reform character. The chaste brain has tremendous energy and gigantic willpower. We can overcome the difficulty by constant practice. We must learn that nothing can happen to us unless we make ourselves susceptible to it. It is a coward and the fool who says, this is fate. So the Sanskrit proverb says. But it is a strong man who stands up and says, I will make my fate. It is the people who are getting old who talk of fate. Young men generally do not come to astrology. Every good deed that we send to the world, without thinking of any return, will be stored up there and break one link in the chain and make us purer until we become the purest of mortals. If you project hatred and jealousy, they will rebound on you with compound interest. No power can avert them. And once you have put them in motion, you will have to bear them. Remembering this will prevent you from doing wicked things. Everything is conscious which rebels against nature. Their consciousness is manifested. Just try to kill a little ant, even it will once resist to save its life. Where there is struggle, where there is rebellion, there is a sign of life. Their consciousness is manifested. The road to the good is the roughest and steepest in the universe. It is a wonder that so many succeed. No wonder that so many fall. Character has to be established through 1,000 stumbles. Each work has to pass through these stages: ridicule, opposition, and then acceptance. Each man who thinks ahead of his time is sure to be misunderstood. So opposition and persecution are welcome. Only I have to be steady and pure and must have immense faith in God, and all this will vanish. So, karma is very powerful, and we are all controlled by our karma. But then, the type of karma, what we should do, that is very important. So all these specifics have been given. Try to be more selfless, be free from egoism, feel that you are the instrument of God, and try to see that God dwells in everyone. With that great humility, if you perform your duties, then you will see that karma will not bind you, rather it leads you towards liberation. Thank you all. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. May the Lord protect us, may He nourish us, may our knowledge be fruitful and enlightened, may we not hate each other. Peace, peace, peace be unto all.